Yeah. And we are live. Hi, guys and girls. Gallo Forever 97 here. I'm joined today by the awesome, as ever, Adam the Ultimate Hoovian.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. So today's live stream, as you can tell by the title, is the review of the second episode of Series 11, The Ghost Monument, with Jodie Whittaker, written by Chris Chibnall, and directed by, and I've got his name here, Mark Tonderi, who was the famous film director who was directed House at the End of the Street, which is a pretty cool horror, actually. So we're reviewing everything about the episode, etc. So if you've got any thoughts or questions that you want to ask me or Adam, or talk about the episode, any topic points, I've got a list of stuff to cover. But if you've got any questions or opinions on the episodes, let us know, and we'll discuss them as we go along. So let's have a look at the comment section, see who is about. We've got Pete. Hi, Pete, mate. How's it going? From the Tom Baker sign-in. Hi, mate. We've got Dylan, Michelle, an Earthly Time Lord. Hello to everybody who's watching. So before we do go on to review, though, we're going to look at some news because there has been some sort of news about upcoming episodes and waxwork, which was told to me by Adam Hoovian. I was like, what? But yes, obviously, not sure if people know that. But anyway, so we'll go on to the episode previews now. So I'm just going to get up some shared screen share. Pulled up weird thing where it just trips out. There you go. Well, there's me. Hello. So yeah, so obviously episode 3 this week is called Rosa, which is obviously the historical piece set on Rosa Parks. But episodes 4, 5, and 6 do have episode titles and synopsis for all 3 of the upcoming episodes. I was quite surprised to see this actually. I'll say because it's been so driven in secrecy. I was surprised we were going to get like 2 episodes ahead than what we've been getting. So it is really quite actually. So episode 4 is compared to be arachnids in the UK. As you can see, the giant spider over here. And the synopsis reads: something has happened with the spiders in the city. The Dr. Yaz, Graham, and Ryan find their way back to Yorkshire, and Yaz's family own to find something is stirring amidst the 8-legged arachnid population of Sheffield. Written by Chris Noth and Shinobu Gulati. So obviously that's a really cool co-written episode by 2 new writers. Adam, were you writing? I remember you saying the other day that episode 3 is co-written by Chris Chibnall and this new writer.
Yes, so episode 3, Rosa, is going to be written by Mallory Blackman and Chris Chibnall, with Chris Chibnall also doing episode 4 and episode 5.
Yeah,
So,
Chris Chibnall, episode 5. Yeah, there we go. Right there.
right there, yeah. And
yeah.
Dave Patel doing Demons of the Punjab, which is episode 6 set in India, which I'm really looking forward to. So it is interesting. Chibnall, is very clearly into the process of he's had a while to distance himself from Doctor Who and do something different, to then come back to the universe full of new stories and new adventures. All, to me, feel like they have a separate identity to each other, which I think is very good. And it had worked for other showrunners like Russell and Moffat sort of had stories that were different from each other, instead of you just feel like, I saw this last week, or I saw this week before, rather. So it's going to be very interesting to sort of get an understanding of what kind of stories are in for us, because Chibnall for a while had done a long running narrative over spanning of weeks that was Broadchurch long. But I feel like Doctor Who in this case is much more loose, so it definitely will give us something fresh and different, even if Chibnall is writing more than one script.
No, it's really cool to see him. And I think this is really quite good, actually, to have 2 new writers. Oh no, sorry, that's written by Chris. I thought it was Chris North and Shona they writing it. No, yeah, I know what you mean. It's nice to have actually a kind of historical story in the back half, actually, with the Demons of Punjab. And with these episodes, titles and synopsis revealed, it is giving me more hope with a complaint I've had one and two is giving Yaz more centre of attention, really. So obviously this story, she's going to be visiting her grandmother's hidden history, which is really cool. And I think in episode 4 we're going to be going to see her family. So yeah, I'm really pleased. That's something I was hoping to get on episode 2 a bit more, but I didn't really get it. Might see it in Rosa Parks' episode this Sunday. But yeah, no, I completely agree. It's really nice to have that variety, and it's obviously sort of Christian has quite a direct writing thing. It's obviously usually the process is sort of like pick a writer, this is the story idea, go. But obviously Christian's also got a clear vision of what he's doing, obviously with Broadchurch. But no, I'm really pleased actually. We're getting a historical story in the back half, which we don't usually get that often, which is really nice. So obviously that's directed by Jamie Charles as well. So yeah, no, this is really, really great news. In other news, we have the Jodie Whittaker, Madame Tussauds waxwork in Blackpool. As you can see here, it's a really weird setting, which I believe is meant to obviously be the setting of when she was obviously revealed in the Wimbledon finale, and obviously you can see all the trees and the sort of archway where the TARDIS was. Now we do have the screen accurate TARDIS. So yeah, no, this is really cool. Some waxworks, I've never been to a Madame Tussauds before, but the images and videos I've seen from there, some of them were really cool. There's a couple of oh god, that's really creepy. Not sort of quite terrible. But I think they did a really good job with Jodie. And I think there is a rock somewhere. As you can see here, she has a Sonic there. I've seen a few people say they should put other doctors in there. I don't think that should be the case, really. I think it'd be cool if they put the companions, or also Doctor's friends, as they call them now, in there. But I think it'd be nice to just have an exhibit of Jodie, because obviously she is the current Doctor. So yeah, so that's I don't know when she's debuting. I think, is it this Saturday, Adam? I'm not too sure.
I believe it's this Friday, and I thought I'd just chip in and say, yeah, I think it looks great, and probably like you said, it's meant to sort of replicate the reveal moment, which, you know, was also nominated. I think it was like the version, like it was like the BAFTA TV Awards that was nominated for like TV Moment of the Year. So it's understandable that they've, and I feel like, of course, the last Madame Tussauds statue was Tom Baker as Meglos, and then we've had a Tom Baker waxwork stand-in for the Five Doctors photo shoot as well. And then, not relating to Madame Tussauds at all, we've had a pretty terrible Matt Smith waxwork at the Doctor Who experience. But I definitely feel like this is the step in the absolute right direction, and it's kind of cool that it's nice that they have the TARDIS inclusion in there as well. I was going to mention something. Oh yes, and of course, Madame Tussauds featured heavily in Spearhead from Space. Well, I say heavily, but definitely, you know, they actually went to Madame Tussauds in Spearhead from Space because, you know, mannequins and that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I remember watching it, and then I was thinking, oh, these are really cool waxworks. And like I said, I read up afterwards, like, oh, it's actually filmed in a Madame Tussauds. So, but yeah, so it's a really cool thing they're doing. It's cool having it. I'm surprised having it in the Blackpool one.
I'm surprised, but then I would say that they probably don't have much room in the London one, because it's full of like they got like a whole area for Marvel. They've got a Star Wars area. They've got loads of celebrity. So it is hard to sort of, you know, we probably are running out of space. So the Blackpool one, and of course Jodie's Northern. I was going to sort of go back to the debate of whether they should include other Doctors, but I know for James Bond, when they had Daniel Craig for, I think it was like a limited period. I think it might have been around the Bond 50th anniversary, where they had like all of them.
Right.
6, I believe, or 6 Bonds.
Okay.
But I think it would be hard to do 12 rather than, I think it was just like 5 extra, along with Daniel Craig, of course, who Daniel Craig, like, there anyways. I think he's permanent, and other wax workers have been kind of everywhere. But
yeah.
And also 13, if you're one of those purists that count John Hurt, or 14 if you keep Peter Cushing. It could get a little messy and convoluted.
Yeah. So, I was going to say, it'd be a lot of wax
works, wouldn't it? Because she is front and center of the program right now, and she was part of that big moment for everyone. So, you know, it does make sense.
Yeah, no, I completely get what you mean. I just seeing the pictures, actually, it would have been cool if they did do it. I prefer if they didn't, but We call like because it looks like you have to actually walk through this doorway to get to the Jodie thing. We call it all the doctors sort of like leading up to her. That would be
Yeah.
a cool thing, but I guess not. So yeah, so should we get on with our review for Ghost Monument, which was the episode which was just Sunday, bro?
I was like, sweet, dude. Yeah, we can roll.
Yeah.
Do this.
Let's do it. So yeah, the Ghost Monument. I've got a synopsis here. So the official synopsis reads: Still reeling from their first encounter, the Doctor and their new friends fight to stay alive long enough in a hostile alien environment to solve the mystery of desolation and the mystery of Angstorm and Epzo. I remember reading that synopsis, being really, really intrigued when I first read it before Series 7 came out. I guess there's not really a mystery between them, but anyway, we'll dive into the episode. So off the bat, do you have any opening thoughts on the story, Adam?
Yes, I do. I'm going to praise Mark Turonde or Turon, the direction for this episode, because as soon as it opened, of course, the title sequence is absolutely beautiful. I will have a section to talk about the title sequence, but he absolutely threw me back into the story, back into sort of where we left off from the woman who fell to Earth. Some of the direction I feel was absolutely inspired, particularly the long one shots around the spaceship as you know it's crashing and plummeting in ye old Doctor Who fashion, and it's one of those moments where you just feel like, yeah, this is Doctor Who. It puts you right in there. It gets you immersed in the environment as well as the characters and such. So I feel like this episode, as an opener, is one of the probably the most stellar jobs I think we've had for quite a while. I think, particularly when it's immersing you into the story. Art Malik, I thought, gave a very good performance. A little wasted, in my view, but you know, whenever he popped up, I thought he was brilliant. And people were saying, "Oh, maybe he was." I think when they did that Coming Soon trailer and they loaded off all the actors, I thought he would be in a later episode, maybe even the historical one. It's kind of what did remind me of Michael Gough's Celestial Toymaker, kind of. Playing this game.
He's got that presence, doesn't he? I think that's what
like
grandmaster behind the scenes.
The master, not the master, but the master from the Mind Robber.
Yeah, and I guess he was portraying in a way, but for me, he was a bit like the exposition man. That's what he was sort of changed really. But yeah, as you said about the opening, it was like you said, it was so cinematic. It was great to have a sort of edgy direction from Mark. As you say, it was just sort of like long shots. It was just really tense. You were put in the characters, literally seeing it through their eyes. There was a lot of sort of seeing through Ryan's eyes. Again, he was sort of like the focus point of the episode, I thought, for sort of time. Of course, they were saved by the spaceships, and obviously they were divided. But yeah, no, it was filmed amazingly. Like I remember just, I say, my reaction on YouTube was it's just being like, this is so tense. But yeah, it was it was just brilliant. I loved how Bradley took charge. That was great because obviously in the last episode he was a bit sort of like trying to stay out of it. But then he sort of just took charge, just like, well, I'm not doing anything to tell me what the hell is going on. I love Jodie's banter with Ezo. I think his name was. Jodie was just great again. I really loved her. She is probably one of the most intelligent doctors right off the bat. Like she is like super on it every sort of time. Literally is like 10 steps ahead. It'd be interesting to see if there's a villain who kind of challenges her intelligence, sort of like a bit like a Moriarty or like obviously the Master. It'd be cool to see something like that to challenge her. She's like super intelligent, and I think she had a great evolution from last week's. Action was on point. Obviously, the end scene of the TARDIS. But yeah, back to the opening. She was just sort of obviously doing all the sort of Doctor Who stuff, taking charge, and obviously, the CGI of the spaceship coming behind, that was really awesome. So that scene was just filmed, and it really threw you into Doctor Who. It was quite proud really, because you think it was a great film sort of space thing. Like, if obviously you've got Doctor Who elements in there, but if that was in a film, it wouldn't go past you. Like, so it's really great that sort of style and highly filmed space sequence is in obviously Doctor Who. So that was great. But before that, we did get the first title sequence, which obviously you missed out on last time. Adam, when you saw those titles, what did you think?
I thought someone had spiked my drink at first, but other than that, I thought it was absolutely wonderful. It's visually psychedelic, like John Pertwee's title sequence. It's John Smith did an absolutely brilliant job of visualizing it beautifully, and the theme just kicks in really well. I love that it kind of starts with this sort of orb that sort of it's essentially sort of getting bigger and bigger, and then we get it wide, and then it goes it's a very fast paced title sequence, I feel like, than what we've had before.
Yeah,
the names do flash quite quickly. Blink and you'll miss it.
Literally miss it, yeah.
Yeah, but I love the when the logo appears, that kind of fade in, and the logo going past the camera. I even like the fact that the episode title and the writer gets its own little credit, like his own title card. Essentially, I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
I feel like I've only seen it in one episode, but it might be one of my favorite. It probably might be my favorite, or one of my favorites, at least from the new era of Doctor Who. Maybe even of all time. We shall see. They've definitely done a good job of making it feel iconic and making it feel like you are watching Doctor Who.
Yeah, it's I was watching the Radix's video and review on it, and I think it was Matthew that said it was it gets you excited for Doctor Who again. Like, obviously it was cool to go straight into it, but I think with the Capaldi ones, I did love them initially, but after a while they did sort of like wear off, and you're just sort of like, just come on, let's get the episode now. But having these straight at the beginning, and like the you just know what's going on. Obviously, it's like a big ball warp, and it's boom. And as it obviously goes out, the base sort of goes up, it sort of dips, and it's like, whoom. Yeah, obviously, it reminded me, obviously, the sort of John Pertwee, William Hartnell sort of Patrick Tran type sequences, where you literally just have the vortex, or there's no sort of TARDIS spinning around, or the Doctor's face, which they could do variations on later on. But I think simplism is the best way to go with the titles, which they've definitely done. Sigun's theme is just rocking. Obviously, I did a parody video earlier with the sort of hard bass meme.
You did
in the club, yeah. Yeah. I was yeah, I loved. I can't believe it was one of the 5 Who fans did a really funny video of the guy from the Voyage of the Damned. He's like, yeah, when the bass kicks in. And yeah, it's just really gets you into it. Like, with that amazing title sequence, and then going into the amazing sort of like spaceship sequence of all the one shots and sort of like the tense moments, it just draws you in. As a sort of viewer, if I didn't know watch Doctor, but this looks awesome. So that's really cool. But yeah, like Adam said, I think it's a title sequence, probably one of the best ones of the new series. For me, anyway, it's quite weird. It obviously it'd be interesting if it lasts a test of time through this, obviously, like through Jodie's era or through series 11. But for me, watching that title sequence, I remember like I'd been out all day, I was quite tired, got the reaction sort of filming, and I was just like, right, okay. And I see the title sequence, and I was like, yes, it was like hyped and all re-energized. So yeah, no, it was really awesome. Let's have a look to see what people have said about the titles, if there is any. Let's have a look. Yeah, Bad Wolf VFX says that new title sequence though. Yeah, it's really cool. We've got Jason, who's from America. Hi, Jason. So yeah, no, I think the titles are just amazing. Like, obviously, we got a glimpse of them at the end of The Woman Who Fell to Earth with the Vortex stuff. If you don't know, they were done by John Smith VFX, who's obviously done amazing work for sort of Doctor Online stuff. Of course, he was first recognised, I think, for the Devil Doctor Fate trailer, which looks really awesome. And some elements better than the episode itself. Obviously, the most popular one he's probably done is the Sherlock sort of Doctor Who meetup. And of course, I think he did a load of pre-Series 10 sort of mini adverts for it, which was really awesome. So I'm really glad he's been able to sort of get his impression on the show and sort of have an immortalized title sequence, which has been sort of infinitely recognised as one of the best ones ever. So I've not seen any complaints about that. So I think as university, it's been loved, which is quite strange. Obviously, there's another thing which obviously has been revealed in the episode, which we'll talk about later, which I know people have got mixed thoughts on, but it's great to see everybody agree on the titles. So yeah, that's the titles. Awesome. Let's say going on to sort of the companions and friends. Also Ryan this episode, who was sort of dealing with his dyspraxia still, and obviously mourning the death of his grandmother. What did you think, Adam, of the spontaneous scene of Call of Duty first person shoot up?
Well, when I first watched it, I laughed out loud a lot. It was one of the biggest laugh out moments Doctor Who's ever given me. I just felt it was completely relatable. I understand why that scene is there. It just grounds the character. It's just like, this is the character from Earth, and you know he's 19. He would be playing Call of Duty. It makes sense. I'm surprised. I'm surprised that there wasn't a moment where the Doctor just tried to like hold him back and just be like, no, you're not going out there. And then, but eventually he goes out there, knocks him dead, but then it backfires on him, which is probably the funniest bit, where he's wondering where the reload is, but he's still enjoying it. Clearly he wants to go out there and kick ass, and it does. There's a scene later on, I think a little later on, where the Doctor's kind of praising him because she's like, oh, after all this, after your grand's dead and such, you're still going. So the Doctor still kind of admires his energy and enthusiasm to save the day.
Yeah, I think I know a lot of people. I think people say that it was sort of like she wouldn't have let him done it, but I think he would have done it anyway. I think he was just like, I'm doing it. But obviously the Doctor was just sort of like, right, okay, let's see you do it and see you fail to prove my point. Yeah, I'll say I've noticed with Jenny's Doctor, she has a real way with words. It's not on the nose, but I think she literally does these like sort of kind of inner monologues, but like vocally to the different characters. I notice a lot. It's just like she is like a really quotable person for being like the best person, if that makes sense. But yeah, no, I think I really enjoy seeing Ryan, like you said, the ladder stuff. That was really cool to see that back. And they did take time from sort of be like, right, I'm gonna sort of go up these ladders and just do it. He was just thinking, oh my god, I can't do this. Like, obviously you're in sort of the heat of the moment, and obviously the Doc sort of took time to say, like you said, you've got to this point. I really liked the scene between him and Graham, talking about what would Grace be thinking. Obviously his grandmother did die last episode. I didn't really have time to think about it when running around the planet. But there was some really nice little character moments through the episode, especially like the scene on the boat, where it was just sort of like just getting to the characters, which can seem on the surface like obviously a slow, boring scene, blah blah blah. But you take time to understand the characters, what they all think of each other. It's just real great to sort of relate to them, especially the two sort of other characters like Ezo and Angstorm, who we didn't really know. As I said, yeah, Ryan was brilliant. Really great to continue this practice stuff. Again, I thought I saw at the beginning, we also seen the episode through his eyes, which was pretty sweet. Obviously, we had Graham this episode, who I thought again took more authority and action. Like he was like, I have to get involved this time, which I didn't feel he wanted to do last time. But yeah, what do you think of the scene between him and Ryan, talking about Grace?
Yeah, I like the scene where, oh, what did he say? He says it was like, oh man, it's
What
you're
would
not
what
thinking
would
about
Grace
this
be
enough.
doing? Ah, right. Yeah, 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 yeah. He's a bit like oh, I know what you mean. Oh, what did he say? He says,
Don't worry,
um,
I'll find the transcript. It'll appear
there
somewhere.
we go.
Yeah,
There's that one.
he also has that scene with him where he's like, "Oh, you're still calling me Graham?" He's like, "Yes, Graham." So there is still that.
Yeah, yeah.
He's still kind of holding back a bit, but it really is going to be the case of they're going to wait till the end of the series to really for him to accept that. But yeah,
It's a thing of those. It's a thing that needs time with those. Obviously, obviously, his grandma's died, but obviously, hopefully, that's maybe a sort of force to be put together to sort of deal with the grievance of it. But like you said, that will sort of come over time, I think, and it'll be great to see that sort of play out through the series. Sort of become sort of akin to each other. I loved sort of Graham's comments on episode. That's his name. When he was just like really depressive all the time, and he was just like just sort of constant banter with him. There's a few one-liners which was really great. As I said, the only downfall of the Doctor's friends this week was Yaz, who still really hasn't had that um, individuality which Ryan's had, especially Graham as well. But I just sort of obviously we know Yaz is obviously this woman wants more, and obviously she got more this episode. And also we got to see her sort of have a bit of a thing like, oh my god, we're in space, this is crazy. And obviously she obviously on the boat was seen as well. She had her sort of telling us about her family, which was sort of like we're going to set this up for a later episode. Oh, this is the family she was on about. But yeah, hopefully we might see something in Rosa. So it's not really a fault of the episode. It would have been nice if we could have maybe put more bit of attention on Yaz, giving them more of like individuality. I thought as a character, which is kind of the sort of downside of like having three companions essentially. But yeah, what did you think? Did you sort of want more from Yaz's episode, Adam? Or you sort of you thinking, no, it's okay, we'll have this in later episodes?
I feel like Yaz should have definitely deserved more because I feel like you've got a shorter supporting cast this time round.
True.
And you're kind of in the second episode. I feel like you should give a lot of breathing room to everyone, even if I guess one's more important than the other. Yaz, she was very good. Like Amanda Gill gave a very good performance as usual, but it was very much I don't feel like there's much standout scenes of her. There was that one scene where she's talking to Angstorm, having a conversation with Angstorm. But other than that, it's possible that it's going to be next week with Rosa Parks, or also they did mention her family actually very briefly in the story, so it might be that we actually see the family and we get to see her interacting with her family and how that whole crossover with the Doctor's life, how that all goes. So I would definitely want to see more Yaz, but yeah, I assume that we will be getting it soon.
Yeah, it seems like we're going to get episode 4 and 6 especially. A few people talking about the Doctor's friends in the chat. SL Productions says, I have mixed opinions about this episode. Thought the scenario was great, but the plot seemed a bit bland. Yeah, more about that sort of later on. Jason says, Graham was good. Yaz was good, but not enough. Mostly in the background, except for the 3 moments or so. Matt says, I like Yaz's first scene in episode 1. I felt that was enough to set her up for character for now. Lots of characterization to put into every ep. Now, maybe that's why each ep is longer. Yeah, I guess it gives more time for that. I felt with this episode, though, it did sort of reach the 45-minute mark. It was just sort of like to have that sort of 5-minute end scene with the TARDIS. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, I think if we have episodes that are sort of concentrated on particular companions, that would be great. Sort of like similar to what Torchwood did. Obviously, Crispin was showrunner for. Again, Jason says more Yaz in the next episode, hopefully. So yeah, fingers crossed we'll be getting that. So he says Yaz will be getting an episode featuring her family in a bit. Yes, episode 4 with the arachnids in the UK, which is such a strange title. So yeah, obviously, like Adam said, we had sort of 2 other minor characters as well, which were sort of help the Doctor and her friends. Also was this kind of like hindrance. We obviously had Epso, played by Shawn Mendes, I believe that's what his name is. Obviously, Misfits and all of the great things. Yeah,
Shawn Mendes.
Is it Shawn Mendes? I don't know. No, it's not Shawn Mendes, is it?
Sean Dooley, I think.
Sean Dooley. There we go. Yeah. Thank God. Adam's the encyclopedia for like everything. You make a mistake, it's like there we go. Yeah. So he was quite funny. I thought. Like I thought he was going to go down a particular route of being like, yeah, I'm this like rebel guy, but by the stuff at the end of the episode, like with the characterization stuff that he'd been sort of experienced, he'd be like, oh, I'm a good person now. But by the end of it, he just didn't really care. So I'm glad he stuck to his guns. But it was quite strange actually seeing him under threat because it was a bit like when the sort of rags, which are called the the remnants, that's what they're called. When he was getting sort of strangled by that, I was thinking he's like the most least like this character like that you're sort of meant to sort of like kind of hate in this episode. But yeah, no, I think the actor really brought the sort of fun side of that. Like it could have been like a really sort of quite dark performance, I guess, with his story about his mother letting him fall from the tree. And that lesson is a lesson learned. And also we had obviously in the race with him was Angstorm, which I wasn't too sure of her by her first scene. I was thinking, I can see getting quite annoying quite quick. But there was some really, really like heartwarming moments throughout the episode, and I really got connected to that character. And obviously, she was, I think, obviously, she was on the defensive first of all, but then when she realised what her intentions were and the stuff she'd gone through to get to this point, I thought she was a really nice character going through the episode. I think she had a really lovely moment with Graham, obviously about the death of Grace. She said that her wife was killed also. So yeah, it was. Yeah, what do you think, Adam, of the 2 strange characters that were in this race?
Strange. Yep. Yes. Yeah. They were quirky, but that's what happens when you go to space. You might see quirky people from different backgrounds and such. The actors did very well. I guess they weren't too standout, but they weren't terrible either. I think they're enough to create this kind of conflict, like of getting to number 1, of winning the race for them to go home, and they didn't feel too arsey about it, like
No.
you kind of expect about it. I was going to mention something. There's always
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I guess it's more. I think really the one thing to note is the timeless child, but I guess that's a topic coming up.
Yeah, I'll be talking about it later. But yeah, what was I to say? So that's about the characters as well.
Yeah, in summary, they serve the purpose.
Yeah, they serve the purpose what they're doing. I think the actors really brought them to life. I think they could have. They're written well.
And they work well with the rest of the cast. They work with Jodie.
Yeah. It felt like they should have had a great time filming the episode.
They were a good unit.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were a good pairing. Well, not pairing. Obviously, they were against each other to win the race. But there we go. So obviously, the race was organised by Ilan, was his name, played by Amid Malik. Was that his name? I can't forget his name.
Art Malik.
There we go. Thank you. I thought again he was a really quite prestigious actor. In a quite minor role, like Adam said. I remember I said watching the coming soon show. I think that's could be a really cool thing. Maybe an historical episode, but I was quite surprised Same. It was obviously a rich bloke sort of thinking, right, let's have some fun with these poor people. It's a bit sort of like it's like kind of Game of Thrones esque thing where it's like getting people to fight against their will, to sort of like have like a for money and just him just having that for like sport really. But yeah, in the end, I just thought he was just sort of like the sort of exposition person. Obviously he was kind of meant to be the threat, but the planet was obviously more of that. But it's a shame he was kind of wasting such a role. But obviously he brought that gravitas to the role. But yeah, what did you think of the character, Adam?
Oh man, yeah, I thought he was a very good performer for what he was given. He did really well. I quite would have. I feel like they did underuse him. I feel like that actor definitely would deserve something like a kind of celestial Toymaker figure, or even like a historical character later on. But for what he was given, I thought he was really good, and I can see what you mean. Like he was kind of he was dumping exposition a fair bit during the story, but then again, I don't know. I enjoyed him for when he was on screen. He was one of the actors that drawed me into. All right, this is what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, you did believe like obviously that when he was spouting the exposition, you had that sort of gravitas, I guess. Yeah, going on to the race story, it on paper seemed a good idea. I think the pacing was slightly off in the middle near the end, and it's sort of like had this really cool good pacing. I think when they went underground, it sort of slowed down a bit, and obviously got more time to obviously find out certain things, which I'll talk about later. But yeah, it was. I thought the plot was a bit bad for me anyway. I sort of found myself sort of becoming unengaged with it. I don't know if it's because we've seen stories of that many sort of times before. Obviously the sort of second episode thing. But I think if you're sort of like a newcomer to the show, I think it'd be really, really awesome. But yeah, I think it the race thing obviously was brought to life with like the actors and certain of the scenarios. So obviously there's sort of two villains, I guess. Obviously we had the remnants, which was those cloth things, which were really awesomely done through CGI. The CGI was on point yet again. That's a sort of case of taking out 2 episodes. But yeah, they were voiced by an actor called Ian Gelder, who's been in Game of Thrones and Torchwood Children of Earth.
I thought that name rang a
Yeah,
bell.
and I found that through I was going through IMDb and I was like, what? But yeah, like I say, another actor's real presence to the role. But yeah, and obviously we had the robot guards as well, which are really cool design. Also, their purpose was just to shoot and be a guard. But I thought we obviously you can have quite generic designs, but like the sort of like one eye thing and the hoods, I thought it really had a sort of fit nicely with the setting that they portrayed on screen. Yeah, what did you think of the threats on the planet, Adam?
I was talking about the one we saw last first, which is strange. The remnants. Yeah, Ian Gelder, what a voice! If you were to get, or one of the cool voices, monster voices on Gabriel Wolf, I think both are really cool. You have a couple of monster voices in this series. Yeah, I was I was very drawn to like this kind of. It's hard to make cloth scary, but somehow they managed to do
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I think they did it very well. Again, this is probably one where maybe they're hiding behind the sofa again, like Tinshaw, who got an interesting name drop earlier in the story, or the Stentor race as they're now known.
Yeah.
They were cool. The robot, they were kind of generic, but and we're kind of the guards really, but I think
They served the purpose, didn't they? I think like
I did, and the one scene I took away was when Ryan shot them down, only for them to reboot afterwards.
yeah.
And of course, the Remnants did bring up something very interesting, which may or may not feed into anything at all. I don't know if I should say. Well, I said it before.
Well, I think we're going. I think that's next on the list of topics to cover. Those people talk about in the comments as well. So let's go. So yeah, obviously the two things that might be story arcs. Obviously, Christian has made this big thing of saying there are no story arcs. We're not doing blah 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 blah. Anyway, rule one: the showrunner lies. Obviously, yeah. So obviously, the planet was the scientists working on there to create weapons and new sort of ways to kill for the Stenza, which obviously the race we saw with Tim Shaw, which is, I guess, an alien that might reoccur. I don't know if it was a subtle link in. I think it was quite a niche thing. I think they still need to prove themselves if they become like an overarching villain of the series, you know. But yeah, and obviously a real interesting set fans crazy and thinking what the hell is it? Is the timeless child, which the Remnants talk about, saying that the doctor has forgotten what it's about, and obviously Jodie's just thinking, "What are you doing? What?" And it's obviously like, "Get out of my head before I see you any more." So yeah, what did you think of? What do you take away from the Time Lord, the timeless child mystery? To say Time Lord, but it could be a Time Lord, don't it?
Oh, well, Chibnall said there would be no story arcs. I'm still,
Yes.
I'm still kind of under that impression. It's like I don't feel there would be. I don't feel like the other writers would bother to bring it up. Essentially, I know they've got a whole writers' room, so they're very collaborative. So, and I know Chibnall is technically co-writing Rosa, so anything could happen. And then you got episode 4 and 5 written by him as well. I don't think it's going to be the case of it being a returning character. People have mentioned Susan, Captain Jack, the names that always pop up. Is Omega coming back? Like, because that's been like a running gag for like the last 10 years. Like, oh, Omega's definitely going to be making a comeback because, you know, now that we've got Gallifrey coming back, Omega's somewhere being angry and everything. So
yeah, in Timequake.
But now he's in Timequake, so now we know.
Yeah.
It could be K9 because K9's coming back essentially into his own series. But I guess, you know, that spin-off is going to sort of run alongside shows, and maybe we'll get a K9 crossover. Even though K9's not a child, I don't know that it. I feel like it's very throwaway at the moment. I don't think it's going to be touched upon a lot, and if it comes to the moment where they reveal the timeless child, it'll be like, oh well, I only got like 1 or 2 mentions here and there, but it wasn't because they're all standalone episodes. I just kind of feel like they're gonna have to force a way of being like, oh, by the way, the timeless child, just like series 9 with the is that a hybrid? Yeah, just kind of forcibly do it rather than naturally kind of we sort of like Vote Saxon and Bad Wolf and stuff like that, and Torchwood from series 2.
There's a few comments. Jason said it could be similar to the Bad Wolf thing, where we sort of get like subtle name drops that obviously you can enjoy the story, but if you obviously watch the series as a whole, you can obviously pick out the dots and think, oh, that was that suggestion. But we don't, until we watch episode 3, we don't know at all whether these ideas are sort of cemented. So it'd be interesting as the series goes on. There was a really cool comment actually that I got on my reaction video, which is from Laura Storm, and this is one of the best theories I've heard. Obviously, like people said, Susan, the Master. I don't know. The theories are crazy, but this one sounds really really cool, and sounds like obviously she's found a sort of theory that is very plausible and obviously has been established before. So she says, in the episode Utopia, before opening the fob watch, the Master told Martha about being found as a child in the storm on the Silver Devastation. That may be what the cloths are referring to. However, the reference to the TARDIS coming every 1,000 years or so implies a Doctor has visited because the ghost monument is the police box version of the TARDIS. Did one of the Doctors deliver the child to the Silver Devastation and then just leave him? So that could be the Master. I don't know, but it is weird because if they do something as big as like the Susan or the Master, it's sort of going against the idea of what this series set out to do was sort of be, if you know watched the show before, it's obviously completely new. But yeah, so it'd be interesting to see how we don't know until obviously we've watched further on. But yeah, if the Stenza coming back again, I think there needs to be sort of proven to be more of a threat. They're obviously a really cool villain, but as an overarching villain, I don't know. And the Timeless Child could be anything. So it sounded really cool though. I don't know if they're referring to the Doctor. You know, we'll have to wait and see. So obviously, once all the race is done, the Doctor and her friends are left stranded. But the sound of the TARDIS brings them hope, and obviously the TARDIS arrives, and obviously we get this wonderful scene with the TARDIS and the Doctor. It's a really emotional scene. I thought one of the most emotional like reunions for the Doctor because you've obviously gone through this journey of the Doctor and that getting to the TARDIS, obviously since twice upon a time, really. Yeah, I thought. What do you think of that scene, Adam? Before entering the TARDIS, because I know you have some thoughts about the interior. What do you think of the execution of being reunited with the TARDIS? And yeah,
it was a lovely reunion. And she has a couple of funny guys like "Come to mummy," I mean "Daddy," I mean "Mummy." She definitely seemed very desperate, and I think what was very bittersweet about it is she feels like she.
Oh no, if we lost Adam. Oh no. Are you there, Adam? Oh no, that sounded like a mic was being disconnected. Hello?
Like the bit where she feels like she's lost, essentially, feel like she's let them down, until that moment,
Yeah.
where it materializes, and yeah, just Jodie saying she misses it, and stuff like that, and done yourself up. It was very bittersweet, I'll admit. And then the TARDIS opens for her because she lost it. And then
Yeah, I'm surprised she just didn't go like open. Like,
yeah,
well,
true.
that would be sort of killing the moment, really. Yeah, no, it was really nice, and it was really nice they had her back. I thought that was a really nice thing of them sort of saying like, we've got your back even if we don't get home, which I thought was super cool. Yeah, no, it was just a really emotional reunion, and obviously I don't know what Jodie was sort of watching. I don't know if she had the TARDIS prop there or not. But I thought yeah, it was just really teary eyed. I thought I got. It was like, bloody hell, this is like emotional seeing the two characters reunite. Because see the TARDIS like the whole character. So obviously, yeah, she opens the door, and inside is the new TARDIS interior, which I know a lot of people have different opinions on. Adam, I'll say mine first. Actually, I really like it. I think there's a few tweaks they could do. They could possibly make it a bit more lighter. I thought. If it was a bit too dark, and maybe lose one of the columns because it's sort of like six of the pillar things. But apart from that, I really love the crystals. I love how it's sort of like intuitive to like what Doc's already done with the Sonic, which was really cool. Obviously, sort of like the floor stuff. It was quite funny because when I was rewatching the episodes this morning, I was literally getting it frame by frame, going, "Oh, of course, it's like it's got some really cool sort of niche things." It's a more practical TARDIS, I say. It's trying to figure out what buttons do what. I thought the time sand thing was got a nose. Obviously, that was the spinning TARDIS threw me off when I first watched it. But that's been revealed by the designer that it is a the Communion Saga thing, which is pretty cool. And obviously, it gave her a custody career as well. But yeah, overall, I really, really love it. It's really personal to Jodie's Doctor. And I just love all the crystals. As a spiritual person, like the crystals are just amazing. Obviously, it's obviously sort of like the classic TARDIS as well. I think Adam mentioned this to me the other day. The pillar obviously doesn't go all the way to the top. It's just like sort of like crystal, like the sort of classic TARDIS is. Does it move up and down? We don't know. But yeah, Adam, what are your thoughts on the TARDIS?
I feel bad. You definitely are very for this design, and I can see why. I too I kind of like the fact they decided for the rotor not to go through the roof, because there has been the staple for, I think, since 1996 and then up to 2017. So it's quite cool that they changed up a bit. I just want to know, and we'll get more as the series goes on. Where's the diagnostic panel? Where's the telepathic circuit? What I know. I don't mind. I don't kind of mind the lever actually when she kind of leaves it, and I even don't mind the custard cream dispenser as well. I feel like it's a little too dark. I think they've got one or two pillars too many. Just because when you want to get a wide shot of the console, it hasn't really showcased it. There's a shot where it's kind of a crane shot that looks sort of a very high shot looking down at Jodie and the three of them, and you can't really see the console. It kind of gets in the way a little bit. But other than that, I think the color scheme is pretty cool, I'd say, and there are certain shots that make it feel like, oh well, I feel like yes, it definitely that Jodie and the set do work well together. I think it does suit her Doctor. The time edition is quite cool.
Yeah, I don't feel about that. It's a bit. For me, I just thought that was on the nose. I don't know, but I don't know. It's weird because I like that, but I like the custard cream dispenser. I don't know. It's weird. Obviously, a little propping. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it's like lit by different directors and that. But yeah, see what people says. What's up with that? The new TARDIS, I agree about the lighting, especially like the retro controls. We haven't seen it in flight. Maybe it'll be brighten up when it's moving. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's like discovering it for the first time is a bit darker, but again, we don't know until later episodes. But yeah, no, it's overall I really like it. I know Adam was speaking to yesterday, I think it was yesterday, wasn't it? And we were saying there could be tweaks to it, but it's really personal with Jodie, and it'll be interesting to see how it goes, I guess. Yeah, so that's basically it, really. I think we've got we've talked about everything. So yeah, what are your overall thoughts on the episode?
The Ghost Monument, right? I think this was a very good episode of Doctor Who. Very fun, very enjoyable. I feel like this is definitely the smile to the series, where it's fun. It's nice kind of to get them to have characters a little bit more. I'd say apart from Yaz, but I'm sure that will come in due course. And particularly if you've got a 4-person TARDIS crew, it's never easy. The 80s had that problem with.
Yes. Yeah. I think we've lost Adam now again. Oh, you back?
I am back, yes. Yeah, so overall, I thought it was just fun, solid, fun sci-fi adventure. Jodie's great. The direction was fantastic, and just felt like a good rollicking ride of Doctor Who.
Yeah. What are my thoughts? I think the only issue for me off the bat was the plot. I just thought it was a bit bare, but again, it kind of works what we're doing so far. Like we're obviously getting introduced to Doctor's friends and obviously her, learn about more about her. So and it kind of works with the sort of having that looseness with the plot to have those nice little character moments which have been really missed in the kind of Moffat era. But yeah, I think Mark, the director, did a really stellar job adding that sort of real edge to the episode. with obviously the space opening literally in space, and having obviously the on the planet as well, which is filmed in South Africa, which is really super cool. Yeah, I thought all the characters are great. I just like the personalities of the two racers. It was a shame about the guy in the chair of exposition. It's a shame he didn't have more of a presence. I don't know. Maybe he could have. It would be interesting to see if he would have like screwed it up for both of them. Like sort of having all these little traps set. That would have been interesting if he was behind some of them. But it was just sort of just like, yeah, just go on this random planet, have a go. But yeah, I just think it was a lot of fun. The titles were on point. The TARDIS is really, really great. Yeah, it just feels like I said last week, like Doctor Who is back, and it's just sort of on point. I think I preferred The Woman Who Lived overall compared to this episode. This episode was full of really lovely character moments, amazing action. There's a bit more action in this episode, I thought, which was really super cool. And yeah, so overall, brilliant ride. Another great outing with the Doctor and her friends. And by the end, you're sort of like, let's go on this journey together. So, but it'd be interesting actually, talking about Rosa actually. Does the TARDIS sort of go haywire? Because obviously we know at the end of the episode they obviously sort of intended to go home. So unless it gets sidetracked, I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, what do you think of the next time trailers for Rosa?
Yeah, they look. It looks pretty cool. It does bring me in the mindset of previous historical stories, in the fact that you like Simon Callow was one of the reasons that Unquiet Dead was brilliant. It's definitely the actor who brings so much sort of rich history to a character, and I feel like Vinette Robinson, I think the actress's name is, who plays Rosa, is going to be at the heart of the story, probably along with Val as well. So, if anything, it's just kind of looking forward to her more, if anything, just to see her portrayal. And apparently, the actress who plays her isn't new to Doctor Who. She was in 42
Of
as
course,
Abby.
yeah.
So that and also she was a recurring role in Sherlock, and I was like, oh yeah, her.
Oh, was
When I
she?
remember the character,
I
she
did
was
not
like a
realise that.
sergeant. She was like a female sergeant. She was in a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
But she wasn't in like. I don't think she was in series 4 at all. Actually, I think her last one was series 3. So, yeah, I think it's more just look forward to her performance. Of course, we'll see cool stuff with the gang and stuff like that. But it's I look forward to Vinette Robinson because you have the performances like Simon Callow and woman who plays Agatha Christie and Queen Victoria and stuff like that. They're always at the heart of the story. So I look
Yeah.
forward to Rosa in Rosa.
Yeah. I obviously, like I said, we obviously saw him in 42. It was obviously the first episode written for Doctor Who by Chris Chibnall, so that's quite a cool thing. See that sort of come full circle. Yeah, I don't really know much about Rosa Parks really, and I've been talking to a few people about it, and they're like, Rosa who? So it's really cool. And looking up on Google like the historical facts about her. She is an amazing figure for black rights and all that great stuff. So it'd be interesting to see such kind of like a historical figure which hasn't been that well popularized. I don't really. I've all the people I spoke to anyway. I've not really heard. Did you hear about Rosa Parks before the episode, Adam? Like before she's in Doctor Who?
Vaguely,
Vaguely.
not a whole lot, but a little bit. And I do look forward to sort of exploring and learning a bit about their history. With the episode, I was gonna say, I don't know if this is the episode where Jodie gets a migraine.
Oh, maybe it depends on the because I know she changes tops, doesn't she? It's that pink one.
Mm.
So it depends. I have to go for the trailer frame by frame. That would make sense, I think, if it was. But who knows? I have no idea. Well, um, maybe. Yeah, it's interesting because I think it was Ben Letzo's Productions was said, oh, this would have been really cool if it was like a full historical, but obviously with the shooting guns and that. It's obviously somebody tampering with time. Would that be something you would be interested in? Have like a full historical episode, like, or don't you think that wouldn't have worked?
I would have liked that. I think it was clear that Chris Chibnall, was probably going to go back to a proper historical, but at the same time, I think maybe he thinks that the audience who would want a full historical, maybe he thinks, that's long gone and past. But I kind of hope so. It would bring back to stories like the Aztecs and the Romans and stuff like that. But of course, there's going to be like that alien twist to it, where with some kind of alien or villain, rather, if anything. So we shall see.
We shall see. We will find out on Sunday. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think I'm just going to look through the questions. There's a commentary that says, "I'm a Yank. Which brand of custard cream should I try?" Oh God. Who's to say? There is quite a lot of different ones. Any recommendations, Adam? I'm not too sure.
Types of custard creams or types of biscuits?
Oh well, I think they're saying brands of custard creams. But I think if you're talking about biscuits,
I like Bourbons.
Digestives.
They're really good.
Yeah, Waltons.
Digestives good too. Even like the party rings, they're really good too. I guess the supermarket brand. So I'd say the closest supermarket you have, buy their version of custard creams, by their interpretation. Because every interpretation, you have Sainsbury's, Asda, Tesco, Morrison's, a lot of them aboard. They have a unique taste for custard cream. So, I think experiment a bit, and yeah, that's my recommendation.
Yeah. Just try different ones. Jason says, he says that they always seem to have options, but she ran out. That doesn't make sense. He said there's the sweet sound of TARDIS attempting to rematerialize. Yeah, that was a really nice one. It was. I like the visuals as well when it was dematerializing. Different, it was like had this like shimmer effect. I thought it was just, yeah, because like I remember in sort of like later series, I think series 7 onwards, it didn't have that impact. The TARDIS sort of like dematerializing, just sort of faded in. Like obviously with series 1, it was like the leaves were blown, like had this awesome glowing effect. So it's cool to see it doing like a new sort of twist on that. So so I think that's pretty much it for this live stream. Thank you for Animal to Whoven for talking all things Doctor Who. Again,
my pleasure.
Yeah, the guy commented about the custard cream says Amazon has Crawford's and McVitie's and a couple of others. McVitie's would be quite a cool one. I'm not sure about Crawford's, but McVitie's, try them if you like. Probably talking about custard creams. Yeah, I don't know if you had the story, Adam, but Jodie, that's her favourite type of biscuits.
All right.
The creams.
That would make sense.
So I think the story was the art designer, but it was like throwing around the task, and he was like, "Click that thing there," and she was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, just push that there," and then this custard cream came out. So it's a really funky thing, which is just this like. It's quite cool to see, obviously, having like all the amazing movie style stuff, but at the end of the day, you've got custard creams popping out of TARDIS. You know it's Doctor Who, which is all great fun. So thank you everybody who stuck around and watched the live stream. Join us next week for our review for Rosa, which is the first historical featuring Rosa Parks and the Doctor and her friends trying to stop the interference of time. Somebody trying to interfere with historical events. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching, guys and girls, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, my dears.